Due to the nature of this program, listener aggression is advised.
This is Chris Broderick with the Fever 333.
Pusillus Maximus from Guard.
This is Eric from Necrogoblicon.
Hey, this is Jamie from Bullet My Valentine.
Hey, you got Dimebags Hack.
I do a million interviews, and you guys know how to have fun.
What's up? This is Sam Rivers.
And this is Damon from Sleep Killers.
What's up, guys? It's Dorothy.
Hi, I'm Todd.
And I'm Frank from Slash featuring Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators.
This is Stephen Brewer from Westfield Massacre.
This is Joe from Dead.
This is Tommy Vex from The Bad Wolves.
This is Ivan from Disconnected. And right now, you're listening to Honest. Motherfucker.
This is our friend Ethan coming out to help us out with this one. You ready, man?
Hey guys, I'm Ethan York from the band Cold, and you are listening to Honest Brutality.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Honest Brutality. This is the show that is all things rock, metal, and stuff that doesn't suck. I'm your host, Evil, and I'm joined by my co-hosts.
This is Big Sloppy.
Hey, everybody. It's Camera Rebel.
And on the line right now, we have a guest all the way from Michigan, Ethan York. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you guys doing?
So far, so good.
For the listening audience, Ethan, you are now working with the band Cold.
Yes.
I saw all of the threads with you now working with Cold, and I thought this is a really cool story because you're a relatively young man, and Cold's been around for a long time. So how did that all come about?
Right. So, yeah, that is funny you say that. I mean, because Cold has, been around for 20-some years now. That's when they got signed, and I am 22. So how that got started is I met them back in 2014. They were doing a GoFundMe for a live DVD that they wanted to put together. And I ended up, meeting the guys and adding towards the campaign and everything like that. And I ended up actually getting to be part of the show for this live DVD that they were trying to do a few years back.
Was that because of your contribution to the GoFundMe?
Yes, it was. Prior to that, we had never actually met each other. I was a huge fan growing up. So, but it's not like we had known each other prior. We ended up meeting in Florida about a week prior to the show for rehearsals. I think we rehearsed the song like one time, maybe.
Damn.
And yeah, we rehearsed one time, and we were like, "Yep, that's good. Let's just do that." So,
holy shit.
Yeah. So no pressure, right?
Right.
Yeah, but no, it went really, 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 really well. When it came to the actual show, it just went. It went like perfect, everything just went great. And we just hit it off so well and everything like that, that we stayed in contact, through all the years later. And, we would message each other fairly often and all that. And I even hung out with the guys. I flew back to Florida for a few months just to write some music for a little while and, just mess around and just to stay in touch with the guys. And so one thing led to another. When it came to do an actual new studio album, they needed a new drummer. And, one thing led to another, and here we are.
So I want to go back to the live show because I saw that video. And just even thinking, just kind of knowing a little bit of that backstory and knowing that you guys rehearsed the song one time and then you're up on stage. And it was really cool the way you guys had the drum sets set up. So Sam was behind you, you were in front. I mean, was that like a holy shit moment? Like you have this wonderful drummist behind you and you're in front of him. I mean, was that like kind of like one of those moments like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, after it was done, that was definitely a what the fuck moment. When I was up on stage, dude, I was so in the moment. I was like numb. I was like, it's like, it was like any other moment. And it's not till I walk off the stage and realize like, I just did that, that's when it kind of hit me.
Right.
And I was like, holy shit, that just happened.
That is so awesome.
It was an incredible experience. And like I said, I mean, it's all the much cooler because I grew up loving Cold. I was a huge fan. So just to play with them that one time is incredible, let alone, a couple of years later actually being the drummer now, it's pretty mind-boggling. But awesome. Yeah, it was incredible. It really was.
That's a whole new twist to the term pay to play, you might say.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
No wonder they hired you. I mean, you're paying to be in the band, goddammit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're not wrong. So.
That's cool. You got this band you grow up enjoying, and you actually get to play with them. That's really a cool.
That is cool. It's kind of a Cinderella story.
Yeah,
and it's an interesting thing altogether. Now let's expand on that just a little bit. I mean, you're 22 years old, and that doesn't mean that you don't have any experience, but you're only 22 years old. So how many bands had you worked in prior to this, and how do you feel about stepping into what have to be pretty big shoes?
So I have worked with several bands before, but nothing of this size. I have done small tours before. Like I think the longest tour I ever did was roughly 3 months-ish or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked with a few bands, for short times. So I definitely have had some experience, but you're right. It was quite a huge leap from where I was to where I am. It kind of happened so fast, I feel like I almost skipped a few steps.
Yeah. Right.
But there's with the fans, everything, there does seem, this is a band that thousands of people love, and this is like their favorite band of all time. So, there is a bit of a pressure of just like, I got to play my cards so good with everything I do, just to make everyone happy. Because, I've been in that position before, I've seen new people join my favorite bands before, and I go, who the hell is this guy?
Right.
So fully expecting that coming in, and for probably a few years to come yet, I'm expecting the guys or the fans to still think it's like, what is this? When's that other guy coming back or something, right?
Yeah.
But but the nice thing is, I've had so much interaction with the fans before, and being one of them, I really connected with a lot of people, and so far everyone has just embraced me with open arms, and it's been really, really special and incredible. Just how open-minded this fan base has been to change.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost, I don't know, it's been like a 70-30 kind of thing. It's like 70% of the people, I've met have been really, really cool. And then there's always that 30% you're kind of like, I kind of was expecting the other guy, but
right.
Yeah,
that's
pretty typical, though.
That's expected.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's always going to be that person, and I honestly have no problem with that. Dude, I love Cold too. They've had the same drummer for 20 years, so I would expect that.
Yeah.
But overall, the overall, it's just been pretty incredible.
That's awesome.
And everyone's been so welcoming to me. So it's really cool.
Take us back to the moment where they contacted you and asked you to come on full time as their drummer. Where were you at? Like, what was the conversation? Like, what was the feelings you had at that moment in time?
Right. So, that was a pretty incredible night for me, obviously. So what was happening is they were in the middle of recording of the album, and they hadn't yet had official drummer be part of it. They've had some drum parts written and stuff like that, but the entire lineup minus Scooter changed going into this record. So, and they were still on the hunt for a drummer. And so, from my understanding, they kind of had a short list of different drummers they wanted to reach out to. Mm-hmm. And I was part of that list. So it was me and I think like a few other guys maybe that they sent one of the songs for the new record. And they asked if we would record ourselves playing this song and send it back. Mm-hmm. And so, one day out of the blue, I get a message from Scooter going, so could you just play the song real quick and just send it back to me? And he was trying to be kind of like not too in the open about it, that he was drum hunting. So he didn't really give me a reason why.
He's being coy.
Just one day he goes like, how you do those drum cover videos every now and then on YouTube? And I'm like, yeah. He goes like, well, could you do that for this? Just not post it and send it back to me. I go, yeah, sure. So I did. And, like a week later, oddly enough, he comes back to me and goes, all right, now can you do that a second time? Exact same song. He wanted me to play it the exact same way that I did, just record it a second time. And again, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, what I didn't know.
You didn't know what was going on.
I guess that was his way of like, crossing off everybody's version of the song, and he crossed off the list, and it's like, so, I made it to round 2, basically, right?
Right.
So he kind of wanted to make sure people could play it consistently and stuff like that. Yeah. So, I'm not too sure what's going on, but I guess I made it to round 2. That was a good sign. At the time, I thought, it's like, did I really fuck it up or something? Is that why you doing a second time? It's like, I was nervous, right? Because he asked me to do it again. And I guess, but it was actually a good thing that he wanted me to do it again. That was part of his process.
Right.
But so I do it again, and he's kind of quiet for a little while. But then just one night, I get a phone call, whatever time, 8 or 9 o'clock, and he's going, it's like, yeah, so you're the drummer at Cold now? He didn't ask me, by the way. He said I was the drummer at Cold.
I love it.
Yes, I just get a phone call, and that's basically, there was very little hesitation. He kind of led right into that. Uh-huh. And he was like, yeah, so you're the drummer at Cold, so start learning the catalog, basically, and we'll announce it in a couple months. Like, it's like, obviously I had no complaints. I'm like, hell yeah, I am.
You're like, it took you long enough.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's about damn time, dude.
Right. I love it.
This reminds me of that movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah.
It's got like that. Yeah. It's got that feeling to it. Like, I love this band, and and now I'm a part of it.
Yeah.
And are you still feeling that? Are you still reeling from it a little bit?
Oh my gosh, every day. I don't think there's ever a day where I don't think about it to some extent. It's in so many ways it's amazing because not only is it like one of my all-time favorite bands, but the fact that they're actually a band, they're somebody. They've had a lot of success before.
Yeah.
And to, have both of that come in just like so quickly.
Well, and that's interesting. Cold has this really established, like you even said it, they have this really established history and fan base, and their fans are extremely loyal. They are loyalists. I know that there are people out there now that have never turned their back on Cold, so to speak. And, I see the excitement and the buzz from this new album that's getting ready to come out. I see the excitement everywhere. And that's kind of what led me to you and our conversation starting, and now you're part of that.
Yeah. yeah, it's really incredible. It's because, they've got a lot of albums under their belt, a lot of good big tours that they've done in the past. And yeah, and you're right, the fan base is just so incredibly loyal, especially to Scooter. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying about how, the majority of the fan base just kind of welcomed me with open arms because, Scooter did that. They just have so much trust in Scooter that they go, this is the drummer Scooter wants. That means, we want this guy too, basically. Right. They're so loyal. So, and it's really, really incredible.
Well, you guys are recording new music together now. Are you actually able to participate in the writing portion of this, or is this stuff that Scooter or some of the other guys are bringing to the table and they're just asking you to put the drums to it? How's that working?
So, by the album was already about a year or so into the process by the time I had joined, because, they had everything but an official drummer.
Okay.
By the time the album started. So majority of the album, I've had no really written say, just drum stuff, right?
Okay.
Except for one song that we decided to add last minute, which was written between basically me and Scooter. And so there is like one song on the album, but the rest, they kind of already had an idea what they wanted the drums like.
Mm-hmm.
So, and being the new guy, I didn't want to go in and say it's like, this is how I'm going to do things. It's like, I wasn't going to walk in and go, it's like, I wasn't going to walk into this big, the room full of all these musicians and this big rock star and go, it's like, so this is how I'm going to do things. Like, no, dumb. I would have been fired on the spot, right?
Right. You're like, I don't like the way the drums sound here. Let's do it this way now.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, my thought process right now is, I was given this amazing opportunity. The last thing I'm going to do is come in and tell them that I do things a certain way,
right,
or that I push my way. It's like, that'll be next album.
Yeah. You would have been fired your first day.
Give them a chance to get used to how much of an asshole I am.
Yeah. Let them hate you first before they fire you. There you go.
I highly doubt.
Right, exactly.
I highly doubt you're an asshole. You seem like a really cool guy, man. I got to tell you,
I appreciate it.
No, it's true. This is a really cool story and a really cool thing. I appreciate you sharing it with us. And I don't know how much, and I know you and I talked about this a little bit off the mic.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much you could tell us about the new album, about what to expect, what you can say, if anything.
Right. So there's a lot that I can't say, but that's not to say I can't say anything, There's definitely a few things I can share. So basically, the album is done. The album is done.
Oh.
We finished it just a couple weeks ago, I think it was. So it is done.
Right.
And so right now it's kind of in the label's hand. We signed on with Napalm a few years back, so it's just going through its final stages right now of getting it made and cover artwork and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's very much it's a lot closer than a lot of people realize.
Okay.
So many people have heard that so many times before just because the album's been delayed, but like this time, it's really, right around the corner. As far as like sound and stuff like that, it has a little bit of like every Cold album before it. It's kind of a mixture of every single album that Cold has done before.
Okay.
And so, there's so many fans who prefer one album over the other, and
right,
and one sound, and because Cold's sound has changed a little bit, over the years, over the course of 20 years.
Yeah, it's evolved.
I mean, the first album, it's evolved a lot. Not to say, it always sounds like Cold, no matter what.
Right.
But if you play the very first album to Superfiction, which was the last one, it's clearly there's been a little bit of change over the years, but so there with this album, there's a little bit of everything for every different Cold fan of every different album.
Okay.
So, we wanted to make everybody kind of happy with it,
Which is a tall order. That's tough to do.
It is. It's and just waiting for that moment where he goes like, here's this album for every Cold fan. Everyone sends it back going, it's like, nah. It's like, try to please too many people at once, didn't please any or something, right?
Right.
No. Yeah. We're actually pretty positive that, at least all of us, every band always says that, this is the best album we've ever done.
Oh, God, we've had that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, a year later, they come back and say, like, they start working on a new album, and it's like, this is the best album we've ever done.
Oh, my God. Is he not speaking
right?
language here?
Total truth.
Right? And so you never want to be that band that sounds like a broken record or anything like that, just because, regardless of if it really is, as far as quality, the greatest album you've done, there's always going to be a fan out there who thinks this album is better than the other.
Right.
But at the end of the day, quite honestly, without being that person, at least so far, this kind of is the best album in so many different ways.
Is it because of the drummer?
That's why we're. Yeah, it's because they got a new drummer. The dude is badass. Dude, I heard it myself. I was like, that guy, you need to keep that guy.
I knew it.
This is exactly, dude. You caught me. Yeah. But no, it's in so many ways, is my personal favorite already. Just hearing it so far. Drummer aside, as amazing as that drummer guy is, it's really an incredible album. And like I said, there is a little bit of everything for each Cold fan. But if I kind of had to compare it to one album that's overall it's the closest to compared to past Cold albums, I'd probably say either A Different Kind of Pain or Year of the Spider. It has a little bit of that vibe to it.
Nothing wrong
more
with either
than
one
the
of those.
others. No, it's like those are two of some of the favorites for so many people.
Yeah.
So, not to say it is exactly like those albums. I'd say that's kind of the general idea of what
flavor.
to expect.
Yeah.
For sure.
Year of the Spider was a huge album for Cold. It did. It had a lot of legs.
Yeah.
It really got. I didn't even mean that, but it got a lot of mileage for the band. It did big things in a time, in a time before YouTube and everything else was out there. So that's good to hear. I'm excited. And what's a tour look like, or can you talk about that? Are you getting ready to get out on the road with these guys?
We are, and we've been saying it for years now that we do have a huge tour in support. It is going to be a world tour. We are going to be all over the place, So obviously U.S., overseas, Europe. We've talked about Japan and stuff like that before.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to be huge, really, in so many ways. And I myself have not seen the actual schedule yet. Like I can't tell you date for date because, quite frankly, I wouldn't be able to memorize all of it. There's so much that we're gonna be doing. But we've said it a long time ago, and that's still very much the plan. That we are going to be touring globally in support of this album. And, any place you can think of, I guarantee you we're going to hit it at some point.
Sweet.
And so we've expected the tour probably to last. You never know until it's on paper and we're on the road. But, we've talked about it lasting anywhere from a year to 2 years straight.
Yeah, I would anticipate 2 years.
Without stopping.
Yeah, 2 years sounds about right on an album cycle.
Are you ready for that? Do you feel like you're prepared for a 2-year tour cycle?
Yes and no, in so many different ways. yes, as in, without sounding cocky, I always have felt very capable in my own drumming and performing live. If that makes sense.
Yeah, you arrogant bastard.
Totally makes sense.
I know. That's what I was saying. Is I'm an asshole, dude. I'm but yes and no. So, obviously, like I said, I think like the longest tour I've ever done was like a U.S. tour, which lasted roughly 3 months-ish or so.
Yeah.
And half the shows were like 25 people who just were there because it was like a free beer night or something. I don't know. but so not to say I haven't toured before, but I've definitely never done anything of this size.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm confident that I know the old material. I'm confident in playing the new material. And so as far as, the drum size of it, I'm very prepared and ready to do it. But, like I said, I've obviously never been on the road for that long or, going to be playing some really big size stuff. So there is always that moment of, where you're like, what the hell am I doing here?
Right.
Kind of like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what's that? So,
well, it's going to be an amazing experience for you. It's going to be an epic adventure. What does your family think of what you got going on now? We do a lot of research on people before we talk to them, and so I stalked your Facebook, and your love and adoration for your brother just makes my heart melt. So, what does your family say about all of this?
Well, first of all, my brother says that the day when they fire me, if that day ever comes, he's going to be the new drummer. So he's already done it for my job. I got part of why I am on my best behavior at all times is because I never want to get fired, just so he can't rub that in my face. Because I'm going to get the phone call one day. It's like, Ethan, we are sick of you. You're an asshole. You're fired. I'm going to put down my phone. I'm going to hear his phone ringing in the other room. He goes, hey, guess what, man? We got a job opening. You want it?
You're the next drummer for Cold.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, we'll get the New York.
The newest drummer of right there, right? The New York drummer.
That's right.
Yeah, no. In all seriousness, it has been incredible. The support has been amazing. Music very much runs in my family. My father is an incredible piano and keyboard player, like you wouldn't believe.
Nice.
I'm not. It's one of those things where it's like, he's saying that because he's his dad. I'm like, no. If I've seen him play, and it's like holy shit kind of thing.
Right.
And then my sister has always had very nice singing voice and everything like that, and so. Naturally, no pressure. I'm like, shit, I got to find an instrument that I can play, right? But, no, so, so like I said, music has always been a huge part of my family. And so, to have, for me to, be part of something this huge, is a really big deal for everybody.
Right.
The support has been incredible, and they talk about it all the time, and they like to brag. I overhear them bragging all the time to their friends and stuff like that.
That's cool.
So it's, and then I walk in the room and they're like, oh, hey, were you listening? I'm like, no.
Right.
Like, good, because I definitely didn't say anything nice about you or anything like that.
That is so awesome. Well, that moment that you thought, man, I got to pick up an instrument. And like, what was the turning point right there were you thinking about a guitar? Were you thinking, or did you always know that you wanted to play the drums?
So when I was super young, I tried a lot of different instruments, and none of them really worked for me. I did try guitar, I tried piano, and there wasn't much interest. I felt like I wanted to be a musician as a little kid, but I didn't have much of a desire to put the work into it.
Right.
Because none of it really grabbed my attention when it came to actually picking up an instrument until I did pick up drums at 10 years old. But even then, the goal when I was at that age wasn't really, it's like, I'm going to be a musician for the rest of my life, which even though I wanted that, that was not realistic.
Right.
But reason why I did pick up the drums is I had this problem with my hands, actually. Growing up with a little kid, there was a medical term that, of course, I'm not going to think of. But basically, I had a real problem with the structure in my hands where I could not hold stuff or touch things because it was painful. I had problems. I couldn't write in school growing up. I couldn't hold a pencil and stuff like that. Wow. And again, there was some medical term for it, which of course is not going to come to me. But but basically, when I did pick up the drums, part of it was my father got me drums for Christmas that year as a way to try to, I don't know, I guess he just tried to get me to work on my hands or something like that, try to be kind of therapeutic for it, hoping. And sure enough, it was actually. It helped a lot with my writing and stuff like that. So, so when I did get picked up the drums, I got my motor skills going because it was god awful as a kid. it was so bad. It's like if you didn't know that kid had a problem with his hands, you would just think he was like the whitest kid ever or something with no reflexes or anything like that, right? But I was 10 years old. My father bought me a drum set for Christmas, and he bought me lessons with the hopes that it would help my hands because, I couldn't hold anything. I couldn't write. I couldn't do anything with my hands. And it was such a long shot, to go from, it was like going from 0 to 100, just like this kid can't use a pencil and you want him to try to play the drums.
Right.
Right?
Music
it's
therapy,
like, what the hell's
though.
wrong with you?
Right.
Yeah. It was seriously therapy for my hands. It cured it 100%, and I haven't had a problem for years.
Oh my gosh, that's such a great story. I love
awesome.
it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So it's just kind of funny that for me, it was kind of a big story in its own growing up. Just the fact that drums helps my, everyday life so much in a way. So the fact that to go on and actually join this, huge successful band all these years later is just kind of like icing on the cake in a lot of ways for me. So to be a musician full time, basically, it's incredible, and the family's been so supportive, and it's all been awesome.
What do you hope to take away from all of this, aside from the experience? What does this look like for you? What's your long game on this, as far as being a musician and being in this band right now?
Well, I mean, long term, I just plan on doing this for as long as possible in my career. Obviously, I plan on being with Cold for the rest of my life. If as long as everything continues to work out, that's the plan. It's not like I'm planning on finishing this album, doing a tour, and moving on to the next thing.
Right.
Like when the tour is over, it's like we're gonna go start working on new material.
Right.
So Cold is a long term plan for me.
That's good. Yeah. Well, you never know. It's a fair question. I mean,
it is a very fair question. No. I wasn't about to shoot that down because I do have. It's on the very off chance that, let's say, for some reason, I don't know, I gotta go do something else. I do plan on still sticking in music long term.
Yeah.
That's no matter who I'm playing with, it's. I plan on being on the road and doing albums and stuff like that for as much as possible, regardless of who I'm with.
Yeah, and that's great. And I'm glad to hear that. You're a very talented young man, and I think you have the whole world right now is your oyster. I mean, you've got an opportunity in front of you that a lot of people don't get. So I love to see, too, how humble you are about it. and how gracious you are about it. You realize it's an opportunity.
Humble? Have you been listening to this arrogant bastard?
He says he's an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a humble asshole.
Like,
Well,
you have someone on the other line that you're talking to that's really nice or something.
they call me evil, so I get it. But that's great, man. And I got to ask you, because this is going to be the question that everybody asks me why I didn't ask if I don't. So, what's it like working with Scooter? What is he like as an individual, and spending time with him, being in the studio, and just working in general with him?
I guess that's going to depend on who you ask, because I already told you, growing up as a huge fan, when I met Scooter for the first time, the guy could have kicked me in the balls and told me to fuck off, and I go, I love this guy.
Right.
But no, in all seriousness, he has a heart of gold, dude. He is honestly one of the most down to earth people you'll meet, just in general. And I think that goes a long way, considering the huge amount of success he's had with his career and everything before. He has managed to stay humble like you wouldn't believe. So just as a person, he's awesome. And when it comes to actually writing and working music with him, it just flows really well. When I've written songs and stuff like that with him before, we would just he would ask me to just sit behind the kit, play the first thing that comes to my mind, and then he would start like layering on top of it, and eventually a song would form out of it, and then all that. And yes, it just there's really a connection there. I think our two playing styles go very well together, and so it's been really great.
Is Scooter writing all the lyrics?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, but there's always a tiny little thing where someone throws a suggestion or something like that.
Yeah.
But the majority of the lyrics are Scooter. I mean, he's always been pretty open to suggestions and edits and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So not to say other people haven't had their little line in and stuff like that, but the majority of the lyrics are Scooter.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's a hell of a lyricist. If you go back and listen to all the Cold material, they're fucking good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, he has the talent. Yeah.
It's difficult to do. I mean, anybody that's ever written a song can tell you it's hard to get lyrics that, one, please the person that's singing them, and two, can relate to the audience. And it's a difficult process. And that's the one thing that impressed me about Cold is the power of the lyrics. Some of the songs, man, damn.
He always puts his heart into it, like 100%. I mean, he does not do a song that he does not feel 100% attached to. He'll turn something down. If he doesn't feel attached to it, if he doesn't feel like he's giving it his all. I know there's versions of, like, I can't go into too specific, but there's versions of one song on the new record, which was rewritten so many times, where he, I think, actually had to take it down a notch just because of, how much heart he put into the lyrics and how deep they were and stuff like that. He was like, no, you gotta take that back a notch, actually, because it was almost like too emotional.
Right.
Yeah.
So, he really has a talent for writing these emotional songs that people can just connect with, and it's really a talent that very few musicians, especially today, have, and it's really incredible, especially watching him work in general. It's really, really, really good stuff.
Yeah. It's hard to believe somebody can get that emotional writing a song about a drummer. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I know. Our drummer song. It's funny. One of the most emotional songs he did, and he's getting all into it and everything like that. And I'm just like, stop, because I'm really feeling like a 10-minute drum solo right here. Instead, stop what you're doing with all this emotional crap. Give me my 10-minute drum solo. You can go back to it.
I thought it was based more like, hey, asshole, I said 3-4.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah, Ethan, you're surrounded by a very eclectic and unique group of bandmates too. How well do you work with Lindsay as far as you guys being the rhythm section?
Believe it or not, so I've known Lindsay because she actually joined the band, quote unquote, officially before I did for the new record. I mean, because like I said, I've played and I've hung out with Scooter a couple of years before I was a band member. But, I think I messaged Lindsay like the day of or something like that she was announced as the new member, the newest member at the time. And, we've talked a lot over the years, but I have yet to ever be in the same room as her.
Wow.
No shit?
Really?
Yep. She's the only band member I have not met face to face.
Wow. That's amazing. You guys get ready to drop a fucking album.
Yep. That's just the way it goes.
Oh, the world has changed, hadn't it?
Yeah.
So, like I said, I mean, I still feel like I know her just because I've chatted with her, over the phone so much. But it's never like I have actually been in the same room as her.
Wow.
I mean, I'm being honest. I haven't.
No, that is
yet to meet her face first.
That is intriguing. Yeah. So what does that look like? I mean, are you guys planning on getting some live rehearsals, obviously, before you get out on the road so that you can make sure you can work together?
No, we thought we were just going to wing it.
Yeah.
Practice. When they're going to hit me up on the phone. It's like, when we just finally feel like maybe we should do a tour, it's like, do you just want to start driving and see if some venues will take us?
Yeah.
And,
meet me in Milwaukee. Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, we do plan on doing a lot of rehearsals ahead of time, obviously. We have talked about different places for all meeting up because we're all, none of us are in the same state even. So, I mean, we have two guitarists in like Pennsylvania. We got Lindsay and Scooter out in LA. I'm here in Michigan. So we're still, there's been like two different spots that we've talked about meeting up before for rehearsal spaces, but nothing's really set in stone of where we are meeting up. But yes, we will obviously ahead of time for just rehearsal reasons to make sure we all know the songs and everything like that. And then for like production reasons and stuff like that, because, there's got to be some kind of show, going on stage outside of the music too, there's got to be a light show or something. So, yes, there will be a lot of rehearsals before we hit the road.
Very interesting.
What is the one thing you're looking forward to the most with this new album release?
Gosh, probably I'm just hoping it comes out before Tool's new album. You would not believe the amount of messages I've received going so straight.
That's so great.
There is a thing. I'm sure if it's not a hashtag, I'm sure it will be soon. It's a colder Tool.
Ethan York for the win, by the way.
Yeah,
what I'm really looking forward to is, I guess, that's actually a hard question because there's a lot of things, I'm looking forward to. Obviously, I've been, as I said before, I've worked with other bands and, I've released some music before, but nothing of this size or this scope. So this is in many ways my first, big debut on a big album and all that.
On the world stage, so to speak. Yeah.
On a major label.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. It is my first release with a major label. So obviously that is a huge deal for me. To everyone else in the band, like, yeah, okay, whatever, we've done this 100 times,
Right.
or whatever. But for me, that one's a pretty big deal. And there's a lot of places I'm just looking forward to playing. I've always wanted to just see Japan in general. So hopefully, as I mentioned before, we plan on, hitting all over the place. So there's just a lot of different areas I'm looking forward to playing. And most importantly, Michigan, though, for me. I would love to just play, hometown or home state at least. Doing it this size for once.
Right.
So,
yeah.
It's just, yeah, there's really a lot of different things I'm looking forward to. It's kind of hard to narrow it down to just one.
Sure.
You know?
But that's why we ask these questions, because we like to see you wiggle and squirm. You know?
Yeah.
We're assholes too.
Yeah, good. I knew this conversation was going well, man. I could feel the connection.
Hey, Ethan, was there anything that we didn't talk about today that you wanted to?
I feel smart ass.
I
coming
know.
on right
bring,
here.
bring on the smart ass. Do it.
Yeah, because now I have to think of like this entire conversation over and got to play it back in my head. So what did I already say? That was a dick question, dude. No, you're making me think like this.
Oh my God.
Just recapping, the fan base has been awesome to the whole new lineup in general. Very excited. Mine is never meeting Lindsay in person. I have met everyone else at least once, obviously. I've met Scooter a gazillion times, but, I've met Nick and all that before and worked with him. And everyone has just been really, really incredible to work with. And it's kind of a really surreal thing in general, just what we got going on here. And, the album is right around the corner. We should have a date that we can announce very soon. And then, we'll get some singles and a music video out there, and we'll be on the road, yet this year. So.
Good.
Awesome.
Good to hear, man.
Wonderful.
Well, once again, our guest today has been Ethan York of Cold. Congratulations again, sir. And we look forward to seeing you out there on the road. We hope you do some West Coast dates so we can come out there and support you guys. Thanks so much for doing the show today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, jeez.
I'm honored.
I'm honored.
You're the first one.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it.
What a fun guest.
Amazing stories.
Yeah.
Loved every minute of it.
When you're dealing with the younger guys, you never know what you're going to get. But this guy, what a hoot, man. He gets it.
And he's smart and talented. And like I said, just having kind of run across Ethan via the social media circles and seeing his story from just that one angle, not knowing everything we know now.
Right.
Having seen it, I guess it was just me from doing this show for so long, like that lens opened up in front of me. I'm like, we got to talk to this guy.
Right.
Because there's got to be some cool stories here. This is kind of a neat thing.
Yeah, he's got a few good ones too.
To love a band, grow up loving them, and then to be in the band.
And buy your way into the band.
That's how you got on this show.
Slam. Nicely done.
All right. We are looking forward to the new album. As soon as we get more dates and information from Cold, we'll pass them along to you. In the meantime, thank you so much for listening to Honest Brutality. Wherever you listen to the show, do us a favor, give us a rating and a review. It helps us out. And check us out on all of our socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Come over, join the fun. Check us out at honestbrutality.com. All things Honest Brutality all of the time. And check out our radio shows on Rock Rage Radio. Every Saturday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific for 2 hours of metal, music, mayhem, and madness. And on Tuesday nights.
Yeah, check us out on Center Stage where we talk to bands. And we put the highlights in with their music. So it's 1 full hour dedicated to a band. And that is Rock Ridge Radio, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Yeah, when you get done listening to that, give us a call, 530-962-0411. Again, that's 530-962-0411. Give us a call. Let us know what you think of these bands you're checking out.
Be good, people. Take care of one another. And most importantly, stay metal!
Stay metal.